conversation with Cognizant CEO Ravi Kumar here at the Cognizant Chalet at the World Economic Forum on the Promenade. Ravi, thank you very much for talking to Moneycontrol.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Give me a sense of the mood among clients this time around, because at least based on earnings from some of your peers in India in the last week, they seem to be optimistic about 2025. They're talking about a pickup in discretionary spend. Deal wins have been good. What's the sense that you're getting?
So Chandra, thank you for the opportunity again. I'm on a blackout period, so I'll keep it as generic as I can. Look, from last year to now, and I've said this before, we were navigating a period of change and a period of uncertainty. The uncertainty is a little settling down. The elections are over. The new government has a charter and a mandate, if I may, to have lower regulation. Lower regulation means most of the dollars which is spent on regulation will start to free up. It'll free up for innovation, and technology is a big lever on innovation. It's also a government which has actually talked about being pro on many policies. I'm excited about the fact that the US economy is on a high base. Inflation is less than 3%. Unemployment is less than 2%. There is so much hope and change, and we all live in optimism and hope. So therefore, I feel very excited about the change in the government and what it can potentially do to change the mood of businesses. So, I'm very hopeful that the AI wave, where there is so much to be heavy lifted from companies like Cognizant, will get unleashed. That spend will get unleashed. I'm also a believer that AI is a winner for the IT services market. Some of my peers actually feel like it's a loser. Some actually feel like it's a winner. I fall into that category of CEOs who thinks it is going to change the paradigm of tech services. It'll be a different flavor of tech services, but it will be a net positive for IT services.
Right. But Ravi, will there be some kind of short-term uncertainty in the minds of clients, particularly in North America? Trump's first day in office, we've seen about a dozen executive orders. There is uncertainty about what will happen next. So will they hold back on decision-making, hold back on budgets for 2025 to, wait and see what will happen? What sense are you getting there?
Chandra, you know this. Inflation is still yet to be fully controlled. I also believe that most of my clients are looking forward to investing into technology. There is so much hope and so much change ahead of us that they have to invest. If all the investments happened so far, by now it would have triggered a capex cycle. It's not triggered a capex cycle. It has to happen. I also believe there is a lot of productivity leverage with AI. 30% of my code is written by machines. Last earnings, I spoke about 2 million lines of code written by machines, by AI. So it's a unique opportunity for clients to redefine how much they spend on the run, how much they spend on the build, how much they can actually underwrite the savings from the run to the build. It's a unique opportunity for them to redefine it. So most of our clients are creating self-funded models. Self-funded models are, I will actually use AI, reduce the spend on the run, and I will transition that to the build. And coincidentally, even AI is useful in the build. You could write software code using AI, which means I could do more for less. Why would you leave that opportunity when you get more for less? And as you get more for less, you can take out the technical debt, you could take out the backlog and clear it off. The elasticity to spend is so high. So I'm pretty optimistic about the future of AI-led tech services.
Right. In terms of where clients are looking to spend, the sense that we got from companies is that it's not just cost takeout anymore. They're willing to put money behind transformative projects, but the tenure of these projects are coming down. So the TCV numbers are down, but the ACV numbers are higher. Are you seeing that trend?
Chandra, it's a important switch to how you see tech services. Tech services is going to be significantly transformative. First of all, a large part of tech services will the work we do will be accelerated. It's not just lower cost, it will be accelerated because you're using software to write software. So it is going to get accelerated. As that gets accelerated, a lot of the backlog will start to get cleared. So I'm actually fairly confident that it'll be more modular. Short runway, it'll have shorter gestation, and it will also be in smaller packets for consumption and better value. So that change has already happened. I would say the things which I am more excited about than the tech is the ops side of the equation. If you look at GCCs, which you have written about, only 1/3 of the GCCs are tech-based. A large number of the GCCs coming into the country now are ops-based. And ops will get adjacent to technology because ops is intertwined with technology. And ops will actually have a much bigger headroom for system integrators. The addressable spend in ops is 20% of a company's revenue at an average.
So GCCs will actually become a big revenue driver for
it will become
IT
a big
services.
revenue driver.
It will not cannibalize IT
And let me give you an example. Let's take, say, we are implementing Salesforce software. For $1 of Salesforce software, $2 of services is what we did traditionally, or $3 of services. Now, that $3 of services is going to be written by machines and by humans. That's not the universe we're looking at. If you take that software and you look at the service pools around it, there are people punching in forecasts, the people punching in leads, the people taking out analytical reports, the people doing sales compensation. That was never outsourced. That was sitting in enterprises, in and around the software. That piece is up for grabs because once you agentify that stuff, you can actually get more, you can actually take the operations, agentify it, and manage the agents and manage the operations underneath it. And that's up for grabs. So I think the kind of skills we need is going to be much more broad-based. We just don't need engineers in the mix. We need people with specialized skills. If I take over the retail operations and agentify it, I need people with a retail background. A few days ago, I heard this interesting use case on Goldman Sachs, which the CEO of Goldman Sachs...
They used it to write their S4...
They used to write the prospectus. You've heard that.
Yeah.
Imagine hundreds of people agentifying that stuff.
But isn't that a worry? Because it's doing away with white-collar jobs.
It's not a worry, I'll tell you why. Because those 10 bankers who wrote the prospectus could be doing more value-added work. Arguably you're right. If you don't pivot this in the right direction, this can go the other way where you're job losses, but you're not pivoting people to the jobs of the future. Equally, as a system integrator, I can take over that work and give it as a bundle to a bank, an investment bank, with agentification and the last mile together as a value opportunity. That wasn't available for grabs. Let's take onboarding of employees in an enterprise, hiring of employees in an enterprise. All these areas were very internal to companies. And remember, this is about work we've already humans are doing. What about work humans are not doing? Going back to the Salesforce example. The best forecast in sales is not going to come from the CRM system. It's going to come from all the emails we write to each other. It's going to come from the corridor, water cooler conversations. And imagine if I build agents around it and create momentum by generating insights from unstructured data, which never existed in systems. That is uniquely a net new opportunity. And I think we have to see it from that lens. I mean, this is my...
So net, you believe that AI will lead to more jobs for IT
I would
companies?
see AI would lead to more services opportunities and therefore more jobs. If you just look at it from the lens of writing software, you might start to believe more and more software will
So the
make
kind
money.
of roles will change. Instead of
I mean,
a programmer, it might be something else.
You need programmers to write the software which will actually agentify. You need deep programming on one side, but you also need operations. You also need people at the intersection of technology and domain.
Right.
I mean, if I'm trying to do disease management, if I'm trying to find out DNA of humans using AI, I mean, there are platforms today which we can use. What do you need? You need somebody with a background on biological sciences and data sciences.
Right.
That intersection will be of significant leverage. I mean, if going back to your example of financial services and data sciences, that combination, that intersection between the two disciplines is a capability set I would actually prefer building it in India.
Right. Final couple of questions, Ravi. In terms of your take on this whole discourse around H-1B visas, I think President Trump said yesterday that he will end birthright citizenship for children of temporary workers, and H-1B visa holders fall in that category. Now, IT companies have been telling us that over the years they have been reducing their dependence on H-1B visas. But how are these new visa policies going to affect you?
I mean, to be, if I look at it from a cognizant lens, we have a full spectrum. We locally hire. We're going to schools in the US. We train and we create capacity. We also do H1s. So we have a breadth of things to do to support our needs. So H1B is only one feeder. There are multiple feeders, and we are a very mature company to leverage all the feeders to get the talent pool we need. So I am not as concerned about the changes in the policy, if any, because I think we have nearshoring capacity, we have localization. Of course, we also leverage H1Bs because of the capacity we get. But we've always seen this very comprehensively as a company. And I'm not concerned about it.
Right. Any comments on this ongoing case with Infosys since they filed a counterclaim recently? How much of a headwind is that going to be?
I mean, I'm doing my job. It's business as usual for me. I'm continuing to do what is right for the company. I'm protecting the intellectual property of the firm. And I think we've built an extraordinary team. Some from inside, some from outside. But we are a magnet. I have 13,000 people who have come back into Cognizant, who left Cognizant. And I have 10,000 more who want to come back. So we are a magnet for leadership. We are a magnet for hiring talent all across the chain. I mean, if we are a brand in the reckoning now, people will come and join us.
So you're not very worried?
I'm not very worried. I mean,
because
I'm just
allegations, and that was also very personal.
I haven't made any, so I'm not worried about that bit. I'm very clear in my mind that my focus is to get the company back into the winner's circle, and I'm on that path. And I think we're making great progress.
Right. Finally, a word on financial services, because I think it was sort of trailing healthcare, at least in the previous few quarters. So is it coming back? Will it do better?
So if you look at the last quarter earnings of ours, you would have noticed we have sequentially come back and year on year come back on financial services. So we're very, very excited about the prospects. I mean, this is also one of those first industries which will open up the wallet when the discretionary comes back. And whenever it comes back, I think we are in a great spot. There are no company-specific issues, and I've said that in my last earnings call. No company-specific issues. We've put a good leadership team. We've got our offerings back. We're walking the corridors. I've got my sequential growth last quarter. I've also got my year-on-year growth. I don't want to comment on this quarter, but last quarter, if you look at it, I mean, financial services is an important industry vertical for me to get the company back on growth. So we've done well so far till quarter 3.
Great. On that note, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.